All of Xiaomi's 55-inch TVs start at a rupee under 40,000. But this 55-inch from Xiaomi, it costs a little bit more. And hey, it's not just Xiaomi. All QLED TVs out there cost a bit more than their LED counterparts. But why is that so? And more importantly, should you spend the extra money in getting a larger non-QLED panel? Hey guys, I'm your host Amarto, you're watching C4 eTech, and today I'll try to answer all those questions. And by the way, if you like how we went about it, then please consider subbing to the channel as well as hitting that bell icon. It really does help us out a lot. So at a glance, this looks like every other Mi TV that we have seen thus far. There's Android TV on board, we also have patch wall. It's got the same stands and thin bezels. What's new now is the display tech being used here. This is a 55-inch 4K QLED panel, the first of its kind from Xiaomi India. So what is QLED? And more importantly, why are we paying extra for it? Well, to know that, we must first take a little detour into the world of TV panels and learn a bit more about the technologies that go into making these displays. Most modern TVs can be divided into three main categories. We have the LEDs, we have the QLEDs, and then we of course have the OLEDs. Now, all the TVs that Xiaomi have released thus far here in India, they have been of the LED variety. So what that means is we have an LCD panel up front and an LED backlight. Now for general usage, LED panels, they are fine. The Mi TV 4X 65-inch is a great example of one. It's 4K HDR, has nice colors, but there's one main weakness: backlight bleeding. To be fair, there's only one real way of stopping backlight bleeding, and that's to switch to an OLED panel. I mean, we have all seen OLED panel on our phones, and the contrast, it's amazing, right? But that's only achievable because we can turn on and off individual pixels, which means we get those inky blacks as well as those vivid colors. But OLED panels are expensive, and most OLED TVs cost over a lakh. So that's where the QLED technology steps in. Technology-wise, this is closer to LED than OLED. We have the same LCD layer up front, a backlight to the back, but now in between them, we get a quantum dot filter. What this does is reduce backlight bleed, increase the overall brightness of the image, and gives us richer, more beautiful colors. Now this is perfect black on YouTube playing on a regular Xiaomi 4K LED TV. Let's pause right here. There's a lot of black on the screen at this point. This is the same image on the QLED panel. Do you guys see a difference? Yes, it's not jet black as an OLED, but they do look way better, right? The darker areas are way more uniform and don't look like it's a greyish smear. It's not just that. Let me switch over to an HDR video now. You can see the same video play side by side on both TVs, and you can see the colors. They come across better on the QLED, right? By the way, this is Netflix, and you can see that while the 65-inch TV shows up as only HDR, the Mi QLED TV shows up as Dolby Vision. Yes, not only do we have support for the paid Dolby Vision HDR standard, but we also have support for HDR 10, 10 Plus and HLG. Nice to see Xiaomi going the extra step here. By the way, for those who care, the panel is pretty sweet, covering 100% of the NTSC as well as 95% of the DCI-P3 color gamut. The TV even gives us an option to choose between different color spaces. Okay, so this is an excellent QLED panel. A step up from the LED panels that we have seen before. But what about the audio? Well, we have an improved audio setup in here as well. The 65-inch Mi TV comes with two 10-watt speakers. In contrast, here we have 6 speakers with a total sound output of 30 watts. Yes, 4 of them are regular speakers, while the 2 others are tweeters. Even at 80% volume, this TV can easily fill a room. And I have to give kudos to Xiaomi here. These speakers sound pretty good. Side by side, they are way louder than the ones in the 65-inch TV. So be it for a casual movie night or an impromptu gaming sesh, the Mi QLED TV 4K is up to it. By the way, speaking of gaming, we can hook up all modern consoles to this TV via the 3 HDMI 2.1 ports at the back. Now, don't go about expecting 4K 120 FPS here. This panel can only handle up to 4K 60. But hey, gamers out there, I have one more good news for you. There's an auto low latency mode in here, which means if we plug in something like a PS5 or something of that sort, the latency drops right down to 5 milliseconds. Now, it's nowhere close to the 1 milliseconds that we expect from gaming monitors, but for a TV that would mostly be used for couch gaming, it's more than acceptable. So we have a new QLED panel and better speakers, but what else is new? Well, the internal storage has increased from 16 to 32 gigs. As for the rest, the Mi TV QLED is powered by the MediaTek 9611 chip. It's composed of 4 Cortex A55 cores. Along with that, we get 2 gigs of RAM and the aforementioned 32 gigs of internal storage. Some Android TVs come with only 8 gigs of internal memory, and that can be a problem at times. Not here though, plenty of space for all our games and apps. Software wise, there's not any major changes. We have Android TV 10 on board. The interface looks pretty much the same as before. So does Patchwall. Now we have covered the software on the Mi TVs in great detail before in a video. Cut to it here in case any of you are interested. But for now, I'll skip out on going into the details and just give you the major highlights. This new Mi TV wakes up much faster from the time we press the on button to the Android TV interface. It takes less than 5 seconds, about a couple of seconds faster than the 65-inch Mi TV 4X. Xiaomi is calling this Quick Wake. We also have Google Assistant as well as Chromecast functionality built right in. Patchwall has a few nifty features too. We now have a dedicated Kids Home on Patchwall, and parents who don't want their kids to view other content on the TV can even set up a password protected lock for it. Patchwall has also gotten smarter in terms of providing separate categories for different types of content. The universal search seems like a nice idea, and there's even a recommended section for those times when you don't know what to watch. Last but not least, we have a user account. We can sign in through a Mi account, and the recommendations here would be based on our personal watch habits. I think this is a great step since a TV is mostly a family device and each one of us has our own preferences, be it movies or TV shows. Kinda think of it like profiles for Netflix or Amazon Prime. But hey, there's one tiny hitch to it. Right now, it only supports one user. As in, you can customize it for one user, and then there's the rest of the guest account for, I guess, the rest of the TV. Oh, and if it wasn't apparent enough already, we do have support for most of the popular streaming platforms, including Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hotstar. Heck, even the remote comes with a dedicated Netflix as well as Prime TV button on it. Okay, so this is the remote that comes with all newer Mi TVs. We have the usual assortment of buttons, but there are a couple of new things added into the mix. We should be able to double tap the volume down button to quickly mute the TV. For some reason though, we couldn't get it to work on our unit. The other one, long press the Patchwall button to jump straight into important settings, that worked flawlessly. Speaking of settings, we have a ton of user control over every aspect of the display as well as the sound. Now, I wouldn't get into them much because we have covered them before in our other Mi TV videos. But what we have here is Xiaomi's Reality Flow with the AI-powered Vivid Picture Engine. Fancy words for basically what stands for frame interpolation. It upscales the refresh rate so that the content appears smoother. Now, personally, I'm not a big fan of it, but Ash seems to like it. He turns it on in every TV. So I guess it depends on personal opinion. Anyway, we can also quickly switch inputs, lock the TV, and jump into settings from here. Speaking of, we've got support for dual band Wi-Fi as well as a wired Ethernet port to the back. Next to it, we have the optical audio port, the traditional AV jacks. Yes, there's an antenna port in there as well. Moving up, we find the other ports, a USB 2 port followed by our 3 HDMI 2.1 ports. By the way guys, the middle one here is eARC compatible. Up top, we have a headphone jack and finally another USB 2 port. These USB ports can be used to hook up anything like a pen drive, and since this is Android TV, we can sideload apps pretty easily. And since we are here, here's a quick look at the carbon finish that we have on the back. As for the front, we have a 96% screen to body ratio with thin aluminum alloy frames holding the 55-inch display. Xiaomi's even gone ahead and given it a sandblasted finish, so definitely a premium look. That being said, personally, I prefer the looks of their 55-inch TVs. This one isn't as thin. Now, the 65-inch Mi TV 4X retails for 55,000 rupees. As for the Mi QLED TV 4K, the maximum retail price printed on the box says 59,999. But honestly, I expect Xiaomi to price it lower. Maybe somewhere in the 50,000 rupee range? Of course, we don't know the official pricing yet, hence the speculation. But once I do get to know, I'll let you guys know via the pinned comment. Whatever be the price, it seems to have undercut the OnePlus 55Q1, the only other major QLED offering in this price range. That being said, Xiaomi's main competitor would be their own 65-inch Mi TV 4X. So in the end, it comes down to this: more screen real estate versus better picture quality. And having seen both side by side, I personally would go towards the latter. But hey, that's just me. Now I want to know from you guys, which one would you choose? Do you want more screen or better visuals? Let me know in the comments below. And with that, we come to the end of this video. As always, like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. Thanks a lot for watching till the end, guys. Have a good one. Cheers.